How about that? Good morning.
Good morning, Denise. How are you this morning?
Fantastic. How about yourself?
It's a beautiful sunny morning here in Halifax, and we are just putting a gazebo together for this summer for our deck. All excited about that.
Oh, I hang on one second. I long for a gazebo. I so desperately want one. I have a very sunny deck, and this past weekend, as much as I loved it, I felt like I was getting burnt to a crisp. But anyway, well, gazebos are fun, and the spring is here, and I'm really thrilled. And today we're joined with Dr. Christine Sauer. She lives in Nova Scotia, Canada, but you were born and raised in Germany. When did you move to
Absolutely.
Canada, Christine?
Well, that's a long story. To make it short, I was a physician, a family doctor, dermatologist, allergist, and a naturopath in Germany because you can do both.
Right.
And I was quite happy doing that until one day, working 14 to 16-hour days took its toll. My
Mm.
back went out. So I
Oh.
ended up in the hospital learning to walk again.
Oh.
Well, I went on a rehab program, started back working, and back I was on the floor, couldn't move. So then I gave up. I got rid of the office, I sold my practice, and then my ex decided to commit suicide. So those things were the tip of the iceberg, and I was really spiraling down.
Oh.
So I went in a mental health crisis. I was very depressed, and I was left with two teenage sons as a widow and immigration papers to Canada. Because a few years before, my ex and I had decided that we wanted to go to Canada to for the kids not have to serve in the German army, which was compulsory then.
Oh,
So
okay.
I said, what do I do? Well, I can ask for I go to Canada. So I came to Halifax, Nova Scotia, which ended up to be the best decision of my life. But at that point, it made things worse because I was isolated by myself, had two demanding teenage boys that were spoiled,
Mm.
and I was so down in the dumps. And one day I found myself driving down the highway with my van, aiming for a bridge post. So in the last minute, a little voice woke up my intuition and said, hey, you really don't want to die. You need help. And I did the thing that was the hardest thing ever I did in my life. The hardest thing for most physicians is to ask for help.
Oh,
So
God.
I drove myself to the emergency room, checked in, and told them what was going on.
God
I
bless.
was very fortunate because I got the help. I was admitted to the psychiatric inpatient unit
Oh,
and stayed there for 4 weeks,
oh my
which
goodness.
was a very humbling, embarrassing, but on the long run, rewarding and interesting experience, which allows me now to deeply connect with my clients because I can truly say, I know what you're going through. I've been there.
You've been there. You've done it.
I've experienced the ups and downs of mental health. I've been on the verge of committing suicide. I'm glad I didn't. I have been in the mental hospital. I have been in therapy. I struggled for over 10 years on medications, on therapy, and it all didn't work. I still was a victim of mental illness.
Right.
And at some point, something changed in me. I said, hey, that's not the life that I want to live for the rest of my life. And I made a decision. I made a decision for change.
Good for
And
you.
that's important. We all have to make a decision for change first before anything will change. So I
Um,
did, and then applied what I knew anyway as a physician and naturopath to myself,
mhm.
started me on the right supplements, did the right things, and got better.
Fantastic.
And then I was able to slowly reduce medications. And since I'm a science and research buff anyway,
Hmm.
I read everything that was to find, any books on it. So
Now
I
you're
more or
you're
less
a
became an
profession,
expert out of necessity.
right? but you're certified by Dr. Amen now,
I'm
right?
certified by Dr. Amen as a certified brain and mental health professional. I'm a certified havening practitioner. I'm certified in the rewind technique for PTSD and trauma.
My
I'm
goodness.
certified in a lot of things.
You have certificates
I'm
in
an integrative nutrition health coach. Call me what you want,
right.
but what I do is I help people live their best life, find their way out of the darkness, and start living their best life.
And it's true that a lot of people don't even know that they're living in that darkness because they're just trying to get through every day, and as you experienced with that little voice that they come to a point where they go, yeah, this is not right. And they have you to help them find a new way out of the darkness. That's great.
They have to make that decision that they want to change, that they don't accept their situation anymore, that they don't just want to take medication for the rest of their life, that they don't just want to struggle and read self-help books, pick here, pick there. That's all fine. And I don't have nothing against medication and therapy. They are all very helpful if used properly, but it's really a teamwork effort. And often you just need a coach, like a sports person needs a coach to guide you along the way. And I know all that's out there. So I'm
Right.
really a pretty experienced guide.
I'm really, really thrilled that you made those choices and that you're here with us. We're
Mm,
blessed to have you here because
thank you.
I know myself, I struggle with my own, and I know that the roller coaster you go on, sometimes the dips are pretty far, and we're blessed that you were able to pull yourself back from the abyss.
And
Um,
it's important, and I tell my clients, there will always be days when you feel bad. But
right,
once you have the skills and tools, you will be able to climb out of the hole pretty fast, and it won't engulf you like it did before.
right, and everything is so integrated, nutrition and your thoughts and all sorts of other things, that it's a very complex thing. I think a lot of people look to medication to just solve as a problem, as opposed to looking at the chemistry and the whole holistic approach to everything that you do. So
We're a human being. We are not just thoughts. We are not just body and chemistry. We are not just relationships. We are not just financial success or not. We are not just a spiritual being. We are all of it. It's very complicated, complex. I love complex issues.
I can hear the excitement in your voice. Just dealing with that puzzle must bring you great joy. So tell me, you're living in Nova Scotia, and that's a beautiful place to be, and the weather's turning nice, and we're all very happy. But
Mhm.
um, tell me about your business. So you've retired as a physician, and now
I
you're
retired as a physician, and then after I recovered, I said to myself, what can I do with my life? I had tried to get a license, but they wanted me to do another residency, and I couldn't do it because my back was too bad.
right,
I did all the exams I needed, so that's not holding me back, but the residency, there's no part-time residency. So I said, my life's passion is and always was helping others.
right.
What can I do to help that? So I started as a one-of-the-mill health coach, put my sign out there and thought, oh yeah, the people will come. Not true, as you know, as a sales professional. It
Right.
just doesn't work online. You can just put a website up and expect that people find you and know you.
Yeah.
That's absolutely not the case. And so many people fail just because of that. So after struggling, eventually I went bankrupt because I believed some business coaches that, not like you, just didn't tell the truth and said, hey, just do that and you'll be successful. And just pay me 10,000 and you'll have 20,000 in 3 months. It doesn't work that way. All right. I found that out the hard way. I pulled myself out of bankruptcy. And I then said to myself, what really am I doing the best? So I asked people, what do you
Mhm.
think I do the best? And I said, well, with your story, you really connect deeply with people that are struggling. You helped me pull me out of my depression.
Mhm.
I had people call me in the middle of a panic attack, and I know how to help them. I can have people call me that are thinking of committing suicide and can't reach the suicide helpline. It's busy. Hey, call
Yeah.
Doc Christine and I'll talk to you. I'm not an emergency room, so sometimes you won't reach me either. But
But you're
hey,
there. You provide provide your,
Send me an email, send me a text, you'll get a reply the same day.
right.
I won't just turn you away. Tell me the truth and I'll help you
So
in some way.
how do you balance being a service provider and serving so greatly, and it is very consuming, that call to serve, but you're also a business owner. So how do
That,
you juggle
that is
everything?
difficult. That is difficult because as service providers and caregivers, we always struggle with what am I worth? What's my services worth?
Right, right.
And I try to have a multi-tiered approach because I know I'm worth way more than what I charge.
Mhm.
And I have to charge something in a reasonable amount, or my business won't sustain itself.
Right,
That's just the way it is.
right.
Uh, but sometimes there's people that approach me and said, really, I need help. Can't you
Sure.
talk to me? So I'll talk to them for half an hour and help them out as much as I can, which
Mhm.
I always do when I have my virtual cup of coffee or tea.
Yes, I've seen
So I
that.
invite everybody, come to my kitchen, go to my website, book a virtual cup of coffee with me in the kitchen, or tea or water, whatever you want to drink, or pop. I'm not judgmental. I'm not perfect either. That's the
Yeah,
funny thing.
no, none of
People
us
always
are.
think they are perfect.
How do you manage all your tasks? How do you keep your life going? So the
That's tough.
the pull to
I
serve is so important, and it becomes so big.
Yeah.
And then you find, like I find myself catching up. And sometimes the catching up is just too long, like the list is too long. So I have tricks. I have a book where, like, I have all these little yellow notes that end up all over my desk, right? At the end of every day, they get put into a book. Like, I copy them and I throw them away. Those are yesterday's, by the way. So I didn't do it last night, but that really helps keep the desk uncluttered for me. And I find that saves me time and mental
Mhm.
time. It helps the organization. It helps me feel more successful to sit down in the morning and go, "Ooh, I'm ready to work." Like,
Welcome.
it's
Yeah,
silly. It
it's
seems
good to have a
silly.
morning routine. For me, very important is I deal with mental health people. So my mental health needs to be halfway okay. Otherwise, I can't help nobody. So self-care is a very important part because
Right,
how can you give to others if your own cup is empty? You
right.
need to have a full cup yourself so
Mhm.
you can serve others from the overflow. So that's what I'm doing.
Good.
I look after myself quite well. I have a sweet husband. I have a dog that I try to walk. I'm
Oh,
not perfect at that
that's
either, but hey, it works.
well, I traded out a lot, and I try to find, like, I need an hour in the morning, whether it's cold or warm, to be smell fresh air, stare at trees, listen to birds, and not have to have any complex thinking.
Yeah.
So it's my form of meditation. It's like the cup of coffee in the morning, and I'm outside. I could be bundled up, or I could just be sitting there, and it's dark now because the time changed. And so I get that hour, and that fills my reservoir to go forward, and be creative. Like, my mornings are creative time. So I really need that to get me going. It just doesn't work if I roll out of bed and go sit in my desk chair. It just doesn't
No,
work. So
doesn't work for me either. I need that too, the moment to reflect, to maybe to learn something new. I like to listen to great courses, plus read a textbook, study something new. I always want to read something new. At least an hour a day I spend on something new to learn.
I love the Great Courses series. Did you ever do
Awesome.
the public speaking one? It's like 12 hours. I was on a trip to, oh, where's I going? Kentucky, to a retreat,
Mhm.
a writing retreat. And I drove from New Jersey to Kentucky, and it's like 10 hours. So I listened to all the sessions of this Great Courses, and it was all the, studies of Aristotle's speeches, and
Good
it went
stuff.
way back. It was so well done. It was like, if I could do this every
Yeah, I
day.
subscribe to the Great Courses Plus, so I can get everything, and I
Everything.
pick and choose what do I feel like today. Philosophy, brain health, mental health,
Wonderful.
self-development, big choice,
Mhm.
microbiology, it's all there.
That's wonderful. So
And
now, from a marketing point of view, that's a lot to learn.
there's
Uh,
lots to
as
learn, and I love technology just like yourself. So I
Yeah.
have my stack that I use.
Mhm.
I use a calendar. I switched everything to Microsoft. It's just my preference. I still use Google. Google is there too. And people sometimes like Google Drive. I like my OneDrive. It's more private. I find I can set the privacy settings better, which is important for my business. Then
Right.
I have a JotForm account, HIPAA compliant, so I can deliver online questionnaires
Oh,
that are privacy certified. That's
uh,
important for me.
yes, the
Zoom
HIPAA is
meetings are
great.
encrypted, obviously, or I couldn't really do it. I don't have the HIPAA account, but it's encrypted well.
Mhm.
I have online courses. I actually use Coach Accountable as a course platform, which works very well. It's very engaging, reminds people, gives them action items, and I can deliver files as well as do online coaching, group coaching sessions, lots of fun.
Mhm.
And then I have, of course, email marketing and CRM system. I use currently Active Campaign, which I like.
Do you?
It's similar to Infusionsoft, it's just cheaper.
Gotcha.
And
I,
what
I
else do I use? Oh, the Zoom webinars, of course, Zoom meetings, Zoom.
yeah, I just changed over to GoToWebinar, but for my
Yeah.
marketing webinars because you have better tracking and you have better question and answer
Mhm.
capability. I find with Zoom, you have the chat that rolls and rolls and rolls, and it's very hard to keep track of when you're presenting. So I've switched over to GoToWebinar and I'm very happy with that. But I think I'll stay on the meeting and the actual course delivery because it just gives such a richer experience for people to be in a meeting type environment. So,
I like group coaching sessions for
right.
two reasons. For one, it allows me to teach a little bit. I just teach 5 minutes on each group coaching sessions. We
Mhm.
can check in with all participants, and then everybody sees, hey, we all go through the same things.
You're not
We
alone.
are all going through the same.
Well, and I also find that we're all, as entrepreneurs, business owners, we have a type of personality that tends to be a little bit more intense and hard on ourselves. And I think we hold ourselves to very, very high standards. And I think when you get into a group setting of business owners, like when you have a conversation like this, and you just kind of go, yeah, I'm not alone, and I'm doing some good stuff, and there are other people doing good stuff, and we're all going through the same things, and cut myself some slack and feel good about myself a little bit more. So these are kind of selfish. These coffee chats are kind of
That's important, yeah. And how do you feel about it when you are in a group coaching meeting with business owners, and then everybody tells you, oh, I'm doing the same thing. Yeah, somebody always tells you, oh, I have really no competition when you ask them. And it's ridiculous because there's hundreds of people that do the same thing that any one of us does.
right, right,
And
right.
it's just a matter, how do we bring ourselves over? How do people find us? And know that there's somebody that may be able to help them, that's available, that's affordable. And that's a hard thing. And it's real authentic. It's not a fake person that tells you, takes your money, and then runs.
Right, runs. Well, you know what's funny is I used to tell my peers, I have two kids too. I have a daughter and a son, and they're in their 30s now. And but when they were young, there's all this competition for what school are they going to go to, what are they going to be, and all these things as parents, because we were in a place where people were always comparing. And I said, listen, there's a school for every child. There is a path for every child, and our job is to help them find that. It's not to mold them to what we want it to be. It's to help them find that. And I feel like the same thing with business and marketing and all the things that we do is there's a community of people that resonate with each of us as an individual. And it's all about finding them, like uncovering where they live and how you can speak to them, because there are thousands of people that want to have webinars and marketing tech and all these things. So what I do is unique to me, but it's not going to fit everybody. It's only going to fit a small group. And so I think it's really important that we all niche down to who resonates with us. And it's not an easy thing to do, but it's so important. But there's always somebody out there for you. So
Extremely hard to find the right niche.
right.
And I worked with business coaches that pushed me in a niche, not a good thing. And I'm glad that you said you help them find it themselves. And that's much better.
Yeah.
And the question always should be what resonates best with your story.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that was important for me. What resonates best with my story? Because hey, theoretically, I can help everybody with anything. As a family doctor, hey, I seen everything.
Right. Right.
No, I don't want to specialize in cancer. It's not my specialty. It's not my passion. It doesn't resonate with my story. I didn't have cancer myself. My
Right.
brother has it, but he's okay now, which is
Right.
fine.
Right.
But yes, I know it, but it's not my specialty.
Yeah. I've had people try to push me to work with just women.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was in a corporate job. So I worked 60, 70 hours a week. I traveled Monday through Thursday. I'd come home on Friday and work all day. And Saturday, I'd catch up and do all the paperwork and all the writing and all that stuff. So I had one day a week in my house on Sunday. And it almost killed me. I did it for 7 years straight in the last round. And it almost killed me. So I feel like I don't want to, I don't have a story that is only for women. I feel like I want to talk to the people that are working on their businesses and that need time and need
Yeah.
to, free up their time and do something fast and help them forward so that they have an easier life. So it's really hard to find those people, but it's so worth looking for them. So I really don't want to be pushed either. I've had people try to get me to focus, and
I
I
really
really
know,
don't
yeah, and
like that.
that's always the conflict between the niche that's too narrow. The
Right,
same for me. I love coaching men. They're often attracted to me as a coach.
right, right.
So why not?
Sure.
And one of my coachees or clients is now my business partner.
Wonderful.
And he's a great guy. And I don't love him as a man. I love him as a person because he's a great guy.
Right.
And I'm
That's
already married and I'm happily married. I don't want to
Don't need
exchange
another
that,
one.
but he is much more systematic.
Hmm.
He is very empathetic. It's amazing for a man.
Wonderful.
So these stereotypes of men and women just don't apply.
Right, right.
And I find niching just with one sex is hard.
And I think one of the things that I try to do, in not to talk about my program,
Mm.
is put that whole avatar, they call it, or the profile together. And it really is getting a visual mental picture of a person that has so many attributes. They're rich. Like I try to tell people, pretend you are doing a brief for an actor in a movie, and you have to make a person come alive so they can live that life. So like you have to really not use just, red, green, blue hair, blue eyes. Like it's not just the physical traits, it's all the thinking and the psychological and how they carry themselves and what's important and all their psychographic things. It's such rich activity that it gives you a whole language that you can use to speak to them and find them.
And I
And
love that you say that it is really important. And sometimes they told me, yeah, look, who's your best clients? Who do you like to work with? Who likes to work with you?
Mhm.
And I think that's what you're saying too.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's part of the psychographics, because if I don't enjoy working with you, I don't want to work with you.
Right, right.
If you're not doing what I'm saying, or saying, no, you're so stupid, you can't tell me what to do, or you can't even guide me, I don't want to explore those issues. I say, well, maybe you find somebody else that will work with you that way.
That fits better. And it's a challenge as a business owner because we all
Uh-huh.
want sales, we have to pay the bills and we all those
Of
things.
course.
And so you get caught in that panic of feeling like you have to, sell sometimes. And you're really like, yeah, no, it doesn't work if you get the wrong connection, because then you're miserable. And then that takes us back to the days when we were doing work for other people that didn't really feed us and didn't enrich us. So, it's an interesting challenge. Such a balance, a trade-off.
Very much as a balance as a business owner. And I don't even say as a business owners women, because I think entrepreneurs, whether they are men or women, have the same challenges.
I think you're right.
And yeah, and I actually like to work with people that are caregivers because often they neglect themselves the most
Right.
and they don't want to admit that they have problems, and often they do.
And that's a challenge too, because we also have to look for people that have the income and the disposable income to, or not disposable, but are at a level where they can invest in coaching.
Mhm.
And that's not an easy thing to find the right group that can do that, that is willing to take that leap and make an investment. It's hard.
Yeah, I found many people that are down in the dumps had challenges and often don't have a lot of funds available. And that's why my group coaching program is really affordable.
Right. So
And
you
I even
really.
uh, gave them payment options. And I really don't want the money to stand between us.
Mhm.
But of course, they have to realize that without investing something in their well being and health, they will get nowhere.
Right. Right.
And it's a thing, because sometimes I have to tell people, well, if you don't want to invest in yourself, I can understand, but sorry, I can't coach you for absolutely free. I have to live too.
Right. And it's a challenge. It's a real
Mm.
challenge because you don't want to turn anybody away
No.
ever on that reason, for that reason. So, and I feel that way sometimes too, because I see businesses struggling to get clients and they really could use this online pathway to get their new
Mhm.
clients. But it's
Yeah.
just like that's hours that if I give that to you, then, I struggle even more to
How do you deal with clients that have totally unrealistic expectations? Say, I'm not making any money today, but tomorrow I want to have $10,000 in sale.
Well, I've met a few people that want to be able to just do the technology and not do the other parts of sales. And
Mm.
so that's one of the challenges I have. And they really just want to turn it all on and sit back and let it work. And there's an element of that, but you have to do the writing, you have to do the videos, you have to be present, you have to talk to people. You can't just sit behind and be an observer. And I think some people do that with their lives too, is they just want to be observers and they don't
That's a
really want
good
to.
one. Absolutely.
Yes, they don't want
They're
to
an
take action.
observer.
Yeah.
A
Yes.
victim of life.
Right, right. It's been
Mhm.
put upon them. And I think there are people in business that carry that forward into their lives. So I think we all interact with them, and it's again, it's making sure you pick your right clients and getting the ones into the pipeline or into the pyramid that are right fit at the start. So it's hard. Well, it's been great speaking with you. Tell me a little bit about your coaching program again.
I
You
call
do.
it Break Free from Depression and Anxiety, Live Your Best Life.
Mhm.
It is a very comprehensive 6-month group coaching program. Weekly, we have actually 2 sessions to choose from, or they can go to both. And they get materials also online and daily worksheets that most clients really appreciate because it makes them think about their day.
Right, right.
And on top of that, right now, I'm also giving them 4 individual coaching sessions. So they
Fantastic.
really get started right, because we are all individuals, and an onboarding for the technology, because sometimes people are technology challenged.
Right,
And right now it's still in the initial phase. So I'm really, and I want to keep actually the price at what it's now. It's 997 only for the 6 month. And
right.
there's payment options. So it's a no-brainer price wise.
Right.
So just contact me. Come
Go to
on,
your
hop on a
website.
cup of coffee or tea in my kitchen, and let's talk about if the program is a fit for you, if we could work together or not, and maybe I can point you in a different direction if not.
And on your website, what is it, docchristine.com? You have the whole sign up for the virtual coffee or tea right in
Absolutely.
there, right?
On DOCCHRISTINE.com, docchristine.com.
Well, thank you so much for your time this morning. It's been really great to talk to you. I hope we get to do it again real
I
soon.
would love to, Denise. It's a pleasure speaking with you. Pleasure having a cup of coffee. I love having coffee in my kitchen.
Have a great day and get back to building that gazebo. I want to
I
picture.
have to. The weather's nice and it's 1 o'clock here locally.
Well, go enjoy the sunshine while we have it, right?
I will. Okay. You have a
Good
wonderful day.
care.
Thanks for
Thank you
that.
so much. Bye.
Bye bye.